This week, approximately 1,000 students at Harvard marched through Cambridge to the private residence of the president of Harvard, demanding divestiture and BDS. And it's the largest endowment in the country of any university. It's about $50 or $60 billion. The Harvard Endowment, the Harvard Corporation, was intimately involved with the Grape of Russia. That's a book in the 1990s. In 6 months, they completely destroyed the Russian economy, the Russian state, the Russian civilization. Thank you, Harvard. And this is like Bastille, people. This is the pitchforks are out. It's not the proletariat attacking the bourgeoisie. It's the smartest kids in the country are attacking their own universities for being attached to Death Star and all the things that go with that. Corporations, private equity, the whole thing. So they're going after the Harvard endowment like the Bastille, okay? These are kids whose average SATs are like over 1,500. Tom Cotton called them little gauzes. Now hold on, stay with me. Also this week, Barry Sternlicht of Starwood Capital, the biggest he's like the god of real estate, said that we should expect 1 to 2 banks to fail per week. So these students are going to go after these endowments. The top 20 or 30 endowments in the country are almost $500 billion. Each one of them is basically a private equity firm with like some buildings and some kids reading books over here on the side, so they don't have to pay any taxes. Okay? Like the French Revolution, the church and the aristocrats didn't pay any taxes. See where I'm going with this? The revolution is coming. It's not being televised, but it's coming from kids with average SAT scores above 1,400. And there's nothing that's going to stop them. That president of Harvard will either obey those kids or those kids are going to do something strange, like not show up and not pay the bill. The president of Columbia called the police on her own students that were on Columbia property and lied and said that they had been suspended. After they were arrested, they suspended them. And she has the burgeoning, massive class action lawsuit in front of her for lying. Okay? The idea that you're just going to see, Harvard doesn't exist for the endowment. It exists for the students. Just like our government is supposed to be for the people. See how this works? And they're not going to give up. And they're up against tens of thousands of the most intelligent Gen Zers in the country. And this is, want something to do this weekend? Go get the book or YouTube it or whatever, The Fourth Turning. It said exactly this. If you followed me for 3 years, I said one day all the 20-year-olds are going to rebel like all the guys in the blue uniforms did in 1860 and just destroy the Confederacy. They're going to destroy this new neo-Confederate thing that we call Death Star or the oligarchy or whatever. It's this union of government and law enforcement and intelligence and NGOs that does nothing but unalive people. With AI, too. So now you must go to Zero Hedge and find this article. The SEC doesn't want Ethereum to transform the banking landscape, says Joseph Lubin, one of the co-founders of Ethereum. Okay, this is all the same thing. So if they opened up the Ethereum ETF, what would happen? All the money would bleed out of the stock market and the bond market. That's why they won't do it. These kids are going to go into these endowments, change the way they're run, ask for disclosure and BDS, say it real fast, the algorithm doesn't get it, and they're going to change the landscape of investment. You watch. These universities are basically private equity funds that get tax deferment because there's some kids walking around with some books and shit. Okay? They're going to change it. They're going to change these universities. That woman from Columbia who called the police on her own students needs to resign. She needs to be fired. And I'll go further. There's a very good chance that she's Death Star. It's all changing, people. It's all changing all at the same time. The wars, the money, the banking system, the real estate, it's all the same thing. And the kids are going to win. Go read that article. I'm going to do a deep dive on that. Again, it's on Zero Hedge. It's your best source of information for all things financial. It has a little bit of a irreverent tone to it. It's fun. It's funny. SEC doesn't want Ethereum to transform the banking landscape. Okay, lastly, over here we have crypto. It's about $2 trillion in market cap. It's the same market cap as NVIDIA. Over here we have $36 trillion of treasuries that are growing exponentially, about 8 or 10% per quarter. This is deflationary. Ethereum is actually deflationary because they're burning the ETH as the transactions are building up. So this is finite and going down. The bond market is exploding, okay? If they were to open the gates in between with an ETF, Raoul Pal teaches us that trillions will flow into these decentralized systems that Death Star and DARPA and Vicki Nuland and Jay Powell can't control. See how this all fits together? This is what the future holds. This is Death Star. Have a nice weekend.